A registered sex offender is expected to be ordained as a pastor of a Louisville church.
Mark Horrigan says he has changed, but some from his hometown aren't so sure about that. It is a story that has now been making national headlines. WHAS 11's investigative reporter Adam Walser broke this story. He joins us from our newsroom with our continuing investigation into this story. Adam?
Well, Doug, in talking with Mark Horrigan's friends and family members, we've discovered that Sunday's scheduled ordination of the convicted sex offender won't be the first time Mark Horrigan has served as a church leader. Horrigan once worked in youth ministry at a Marion County church and was about to become ordained as a minister, but before he could, he landed in prison.
In the rolling Kentucky hills of a tiny community called Gravel Switch, Mark Horrigan first began his trail to the ministry, serving as a youth leader at Beach Fork Baptist Church. Horrigan talked about it on CNN this week.
Well, I felt the call of God on my life when I was younger, and I was going through a divorce before, and I wasn't allowed to be ordained through that church because of that, because of the denomination that I was affiliated with.
Horrigan's ex-wife says the divorce came after Horrigan confessed molesting an 11-year-old boy to her, then went to authorities. Horrigan, who was living in this house near the country church when he was arrested in late 1998, was convicted of sexual abuse and later ordered not to serve in a leadership role in any church. But Horrigan, who is on the Lifetime Sex Offender Registry, hopes to be ordained this weekend as a minister at City of Refuge Worship Center in Louisville. His ex-wife, who doesn't want to be named, told us in an email, quote, "If this church knew Mark the way that I do, if they had lived with him and could see how he made out like what he did was not an awful thing, they couldn't even consider ordaining him. Mark was, and still, I'm sure, is, a sick person." Horrigan says he is no longer a threat to children, and the church's pastor says he won't be left alone with them. But some people in his old hometown don't think he should be trusted.
Might not do it again, but then again, you never know.
Because I know his history. I mean...
Yeah, I wouldn't want my kid around in the church that he works in neither.
I think when somebody does such a crime, a heinous crime like that, I don't care if it's a population of 5,000 or 50,000 or even 150,000. People don't forget that thing, especially the family and friends that were involved in the situation. So,
we contacted the victim's mother today, and she says she's too traumatized to talk about the situation. Others familiar with Horrigan's past say they're just glad the church ordaining him is in Louisville, 100 miles away, and not in their quiet backyard.
Now, Horrigan told me in an email earlier this week that he doesn't deserve a second chance, but he said God's forgiveness is for anyone and everyone to accept, regardless of what they have done. Adam Walser, WHAS 11 News.
The trial of the ex-football coach Jason Stinson has now wrapped up for the week tonight.